Hi, I'm Dr. Carey Heller, or Coach Carey as the kids like to call me. So, when you think about ADHD, baseball is probably not the first sport that comes to mind for a lot of kids with ADHD. Because think about it, that on the one hand, when you're in the field, there's a lot of downtime. If the ball's not coming to you, especially if you're playing outfield, when you're batting, there's a lot of time waiting on the bench to bat. So in baseball, you have a lot of downtime, which for kids that sometimes have a hard time focusing and sitting still. On the one hand, that can be challenging. On the other hand, what people really don't think about is in a lot of ways, baseball can actually be a really great sport for ADHD also because of the fact that it's very structured and that each position has a specific role that they're serving. There's not as much in the way of having to track constant movement in the same way that soccer or basketball occurs in terms of that. And so for a lot of kids that have a hard time with some of the executive function pieces, kind of putting everything together, still has its own challenges. In a lot of ways, can be sometimes easier for kids. So I'm just putting that out there, something to consider that just because there are times where you're standing around doesn't mean that it's not a great sport for ADHD. In a lot of ways, it can be a really great sport, especially if you know how to kind of work with it